Oh, well, thank you. That's really sweet. So, thanks for coming here today. And what I want to talk about is really about tech and ask the question, is tech working for you or are you working for tech? And I'll explain what I mean by that. So, the first thing I want to talk about is a little bit about why the immersive paradigm is so valuable. And if you think about the ways people learn, you can learn from a spreadsheet, you can learn from some flat screen review of some data that you're rolling and tumbling on the screen. You can, window in the world. There's all these different ways of learning and understanding. But when you get inside data and you can really get a sense of some high throughput discovery, so you can really share, understand, and experience that data through the immersive paradigm. And that is really what's unique and special about that over any other type of way of getting information to you. And so this is interesting because if you have an unnatural shift in actions, you might not be able to experience things the way you want. So if you're trying to learn about something and discover insights into a product or like learn about a story somebody's trying to tell you, and you have to stop and think about like what this is and what I'm supposed to do with it, then you are not as immersed as you could be because you've broken the connection because you're no longer acting naturally. And so I love this little graphic because I think it really drills. I mean, he's holding his glasses and it's not even plugged in. He's like, wow, this is cool, but it's not really happening for him. But when your actions can kind of represent how you work in the environment and you don't need to put like different constraints on your actions, then you can really experience and learn in the natural way. And so I spent a good period of time at Ford Motor Company, and this is one of the images that I think really represents that. So this is a Mustang that's basically chopped up, and it has a level of interaction, so they can actually turn dials, press steering wheel buttons, but in the immersive environment, things are happening for you. So it's a really natural way because it is actually, you sit in a vehicle, you turn a knob, you turn up your volume. You could actually hear the volume increase as you turn it up, and you can change stations and hear that and kind of have a more natural interaction in the way that you're experiencing the product. And so I want to talk about tenets of immersion. And this is my son. And he is now 24 years old. So I have been doing immersive VR for a very, very long time. And back in the day, we had a wood car because you couldn't have metal in the environment because we were using magnetic tracking. And so I suited him up and put him in this car seat so he could see like this early instance of VR. But the thing is this look on his face and the way he, is very displeased about what I'm doing. This is what everybody feels, but they're too polite to tell you. And then collaborative. So the best thing about the immersive paradigm is the ability to share together. So like that little triangle I had share in there. And so being able to connect with somebody else about an engineering problem, about how a mechanical structure is influenced by a design, that is what is really important about the immersive paradigm and different than being, one level of abstraction from a flat screen review. And so I want to take just this little side trip about the importance of visual quality and understanding. And so I think Aristotle said this great, that the aim of art is to represent not the outward appearance of things, but their inward significance. So why is it important to you to show this engineering problem and how do you put it in context? And so this is a church in Vienna, and it has no dome in it. It's an optical illusion. And so the reason why I have this in here is illusions are actually part of our everyday life, how we experience the world. There are optical illusions all around us, tricks with light and shadow, and we need to accommodate for them because they are actually part of our reality, even though they're an illusion. And so we take this subjective data and we use objective tools to understand those types of illusions and our reality as we would see things in the real world. And so what we get is from going from something like this, which is, looks like a really great rendering. All of these images are, from an immersive perspective. So generated, think about them being generated in real time to something like this. So when you do real-time ray tracing and you put light and shadow, let's see, does this have, so I don't know, you can't really see the laser pointer, but if you look at the headlamps and if you look down the side of the body and then I move to this, there's no change to the geometry. It is only a change to how it's rendered. And it's from the proper perspective of the person standing there looking at a 3/4 view, looking down. These are like real screen caps. They're not, like rendered offline and then shown to you. This is what you would see when you get immersed. And it's not perfect, but it's really darn good. And same thing for interior. You would almost think there's a mismatch between the door and the pillar in this. And then if you look at it here, that's what a Mustang looks like. And so it's getting at the emissive values and the way light kind of blends one component to another and what you get in shadow and how important shadow is to understanding like the quality of what that looks like when it's built. So that's what I wanted to talk with you about, and I appreciate your time and attention for listening to me talk about this stuff. I think it's so important.